All right, guys. Today, you're going to listen to an interview I did on last Friday of one of the directors of sustainability for Walmart Incorporated. And this interview was really, really interesting for me because I spoke to him, and he is in a very professional field. And he let me know some of the things that people in the business field of sustainability do from the day to day. And sometimes it's really enlightening to be able to hear from people, not just in the activism field, but also in the corporate field, because a lot of time I think corporations can get a negative reputation for things they do. But it's important to realize that a lot of corporations out there, like from what he said to me, like Walmart, do really positive things for the company. And in fact, they might have announced this already, but he let us in on a really cool joint project Walmart's doing with the company called Georgia Power, where they're going to be supplying power all throughout the Mississippi River Valley area, which is super cool. And that, among other things, we talked about. All in all, the interview went really well. He's a really, really intelligent guy, and I'm really excited for you guys to hear it. Thanks. Welcome to A Natural State of Things. This is a podcast about sustainability in Northwest Arkansas, and I'm your host, Paxton Dodd, and it's presented by KXUA 88.3 Fayetteville. All right, Mr. Chris, are you there?
I am.
All right, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I want to thank you at first for letting me interview you. It's really cool that you're letting me do this. On behalf of KXUA and the whole station, it's really kind of you, so I appreciate that.
Very welcome. I actually spoke at U of A's Law School last fall. So
awesome, cool.
We definitely want to be in contact with the next generation of people who are going to be working in the industry and
oh yeah, for sure, man.
Helping to provide guidance where we can.
For sure. All right, so let's get started here. So first off, why don't you just introduce yourself and what your title is and kind of like what you do for Walmart?
Sure. So my name is Steve Chris. I'm Director Energy and Strategy Analysis for Walmart Incorporated. My role has three primary areas of activity. The first area is utility rates and pricing. So we do a lot of rate forecasting and cost management work in order to help inform the forecast for our stores, do project analysis, and other analyses internally. The second bucket is regulatory and legislative. So we manage all of our regulatory interventions in utility rate cases and a number of other sorts of proceedings, which cover the gamut from policy to energy efficiency to rates to renewables, you name it.
So kind of a little bit of everything, huh?
Yeah, we touch a little bit of everything, and then we also work in concert with our public affairs group to manage our exposure at state legislatures, as well as really at the federal level as well. But energy is very much a state-focused issue as far as really what we see on our bills.
Yeah, for sure.
As far as that goes, so we typically focus at the state level on legislative work as well. And then the final bucket is working with utilities to develop renewable programming for the benefit of our stores.
Okay, cool, awesome. So another question I have for you here is what led you individually to wanting to do something like this? Like, was there something you saw either in the news or like while you were in school that made you kind of want to do sustainability or things of that nature? Or was it kind of more of an accident?
So my journey to this point has been has a lot of twists and turns, and it was funny that you said the word accident because excuse me, I actually got into the energy industry by accident.
All right.
My graduate degree is in agricultural economics.
Oh, okay.
And I was down at Louisiana State University in grad school about a year out from graduation, trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life.
Yeah, for sure. I feel that.
And so I was looking at opportunities in Houston as well in the markets that we were looking at moving to, and there was a company called Econ One Research. They do economic consulting in the energy business, and I saw, they're opening the Houston office, and the guy who's opening it is from LSU. So I thought to leverage the connection, sent him an email, and he said, I'm still in Baton Rouge, come see me. Mm-hmm. And so had my first interview 2 hours later. We kept in touch for a year, and then he hired me when I finished my master's.
Oh, cool.
And so that's how I got into energy.
Okay, sweet.
Now, in terms of regulation and that side of it, so I came to Walmart really in a pure regulatory role.
Yeah.
That second bucket was my job when I started here 10.5 years ago. I got into regulation through some of the project work I did at the consulting firm, working on regulatory structures and market structures.
Okay.
And in some of the federal energy issues of the time, like what Enron was doing in the markets and that sort of thing. And then the journey into sustainability really came with the growing role of my position over time.
And Walmart as well in the last 5-7 years has also had a pretty big push for a more sustainable way of conducting their business as well. So I'm sure your job came with that as well.
Absolutely. And I work in functions that are really crucial to being able to do that, not just in terms of just the ability to do it, that it's legal and possible,
yes,
but also that it's cost effective and that we are doing our analysis right and ensuring that we're continuing to deliver everyday low cost to our stores.
Okay, cool, awesome, thank you. All right, so my next question here is it's more of a pathos question. It's saying what would you say to people who may be listening of why it's important to be engaged in this sector of not just business but of just legislation and sustainability and things like that?
Well, ultimately, as far as energy is concerned, much of what gets done in the sector is driven by legislative and regulatory policies, rules, and the structures that those enable. So it's very important to be engaged at both the legislatures and the utility regulators in order to help influence those and drive those towards ends that I think promote sustainable goals as well as cost control.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So another question I have here in terms of Walmart, why do you think that, or do you think at Walmart as a business, do you think that they you guys have kind of taken a responsibility that some legislations, I would say, haven't been as pushing for, with the Walmart whole businesses across the country in general. I was talking about this in one of my classes, how businesses are more nowadays, more than ever, acting sort of more activist, more altruistically. Since you've been with Walmart, you said for 10 years, you said? Okay, so, and you've seen probably a lot of internal change. What do you think is the primary driver of that shift towards sustainability? Do you think it's more PR based or more it's kind of recognizing long-term goals and things like that?
I think that the company has really recognized the importance of sound environmental policy and action.
Yeah.
And we've also worked really hard to develop mechanisms to make acting towards our sustainability goals cost effective for our stores.
Yeah.
So that we
Which
can
is just a win-win.
Keep our cost and price advantages. And so, yeah, it's a win-win as far as we see it.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So for someone like me, I'm a freshman here at the University of Arkansas. I'm super interested in the sustainability field. I'm majoring in communication, minoring in sustainability. What would you say to, it can seem really overwhelming, I guess, someone in my position, looking at the news or looking at facts presented to me or other people in my position. So for someone who's out there making a difference, whether it be economically or environmentally, or from what you say, at both at the same time, what is some advice you could give for people in my position of how to not get overwhelmed with the seeming impossibility of trying to perform in this field?
Well, I think sustainability has enough subfields that you can choose an area of interest that you might want to drill down more into. So energy is one, waste is one.
Yeah.
And that's just things that we here in the Walmart Real Estate Organization work on. There's also a whole world of supply chain things you can work on: sustainable sourcing, sustainable agriculture. I actually was involved in sustainable agriculture as part of my undergraduate and graduate work.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's really
Okay.
If you have an additional interest, how do you combine those two things to find an area of sustainability that really works for you?
Okay, cool, for sure. Is there anything that Walmart has? I know you guys just announced. I was doing some research. You just announced a pretty ambitious goal, the Gigaton project, which seems very cool. Is there anything else, sort of like in the works that you're working on right now that you want to like let people know about that Walmart's doing in this field, or like any sort of goals you guys have accomplished recently?
So one thing that I've worked on personally that I'm very proud of in the sustainability space for Walmart is we partner with our utilities. So we have a number of utilities where we have a lot of stores and other facilities served by them, where we can leverage the size of our footprint to really drive good scale on renewables.
Yeah, okay.
And so on Monday, we will be announcing a partnership with Georgia Power.
Oh, wow. And Georgia Power, talk some about them. I don't think I'm familiar with that company.
So Georgia Power is a subsidiary of Southern Company. Southern Company owns 4 utilities: Georgia Power, Alabama Power, Mississippi Power, and Gulf Power.
Oh, okay. Florida. So just general energy for like that region. Yeah,
they're a large electric utility in those 4 states.
All right.
So we actually have already done a renewable deal with Alabama Power that we ribbon cut a few weeks ago.
Sweet.
But the Georgia Power one is one where we leveraged our regulatory expertise as well as our rate and renewable knowledge to A, ask for the program, B, negotiate the terms of the program, and then work through the analysis to determine that we feel like it's a great program to participate in. And we've signed up and we'll be announcing on Monday that we are participating. Our portion of the program, so the total program is 177 megawatts. We'll be taking about 83 megawatts of that.
Okay.
And it will supply about 34% of our usage under the utility will be renewable for that program.
Oh, wow.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's a very significant piece of our footprint there.
Okay, so that's cool. There's tangible evidence of like Walmart's contribution, I would say, to this field, and that's really, really impressive.
Absolutely, and it was one that had we not engaged, it would not exist.
Okay, yeah, so and that's I think probably what you guys like are shooting for sure. Like understanding the tangible evidence of like you can see exactly what you've accomplished, because I think a lot of time actual action gets lost in jargon and in things like that. So it's really cool when you can see legitimate things happening in this field.
Yeah, and that's one of the fun parts about working on it on the energy side, because we are working towards tangible outcomes in terms of renewable projects and programs. And it's certainly rewarding to be able to work collaboratively with other interested customers as well as with the utility to develop something usable and that's really going to deliver a very significant amount of renewable power to our stores.
Okay, yeah, for sure. All right, man, that's awesome. I'm glad you let us know. That'd be really cool. Okay, so I don't have a lot of questions left, but I do have one thing I want to ask you. I kind of hit on this earlier. Do you think that going forward, corporations should have more of a responsibility to the environment, more so now than they do in general? Or do you think that's more of like a legislative thing and then corporations just kind of perform under that?
Walmart sees the environmental impact of what we're doing on the sustainability front as important and really critical to our business and our customers. And so we will continue to pursue that path, really regardless of what external factors may come to play in terms of regulations or really rollback of regulations. And we see this as a very important part of our business and
of course,
something to continue working towards.
Awesome. So thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. This has been Mr. Chris from Walmart.
Well, I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Have a great day. Thank you so much once again.